Let's talk about special triangles on the ACT. Question 1. In a 45, 45, 90 triangle, each leg has a length of 7. Find the hypotenuse. So step 1 is to know the ratios for special triangles, 45, 45, 90 triangles, and 30, 60, 90 triangles. The first one here, 45, 45, 90, and when the leg has a length of 1, the hypotenuse has a length of the square root of 2. And this is really just a shortcut to finding the length of the hypotenuse, which you could always do using the Pythagorean theorem. However, it is useful to have a shortcut. So when the length of the legs is 1, then the hypotenuse is the square root of 2. And that ratio will transfer to other lengths. So the leg lengths are 7 in this instance, and so the hypotenuse is 7 times the square root of 2, which is answer choice B. Question 2, a 30, 60, 90 triangle has a hypotenuse of 12. Find the side opposite the 60-degree angle. So the second kind of triangle is the 30, 60, 90 triangle, and that has a ratio of 1 to the square root of 3 to 2. First, we have the hypotenuse to get the short side, so 12 over 2 is 6, and then the side opposite the 60-degree angle is the longer leg, and so it is the short side length times the square root of 3, so it is 6 times the square root of 3. Answer choice D is the correct answer. Question 3, a square has a diagonal of 10. Find one side length of that square. The diagonal splits the square into two 45, 45, 90 triangles. So step 3 is to sort of combine a couple of steps for a little bit more difficult question. The square's diagonal is the side length times root 2. So if the square has a diagonal of 10, we can use the first ratio to figure out. So 1 square root of 2. And we solve for the side length, which is 10 over the root 2. Then we rationalize and you get 10 root 2 over 2, which is equivalent to 10 divided by the root of 2. And that, of course, is 5 root 2, so that's answer choice A. Final one here. An equilateral triangle has a side of 8. Find its altitude. So step 4 is to know that an equilateral's height is half the base times root 3. You can figure this out by splitting it into two 30, 60, 90 triangles and working from there with your special triangle ratios or even the Pythagorean theorem. But if you know the shortcut here, we know that the height is half the base times root 3. So 4 root 3 is the correct answer, and that's answer choice C.